around for a little while. Of Associate Head Coach, Offensive Coordinator Jamey Chadwell. He'll make an opening statement and take your questions.
All right, thank you very much. On behalf of Coastal Carolina, Coach Joe Mowgli, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. We are excited about this first year in the Sun Belt Conference. Our mission in our football program is to field a team that all of Coastal can be proud of, and I think that's what you'll see this year as we take on this the conference here that's coming off the highest or the best year they've ever had. You'll see a team that plays extremely hard, plays with passion, and plays with a purpose. We're looking forward to competing and seeing where we stand. We know it's going to be a hard transition, but we're coming off where we feel like we've got a great foundation built with our program and what we stand for, and looking forward to the competition and being a great member of the Sun Belt Conference. So I'll answer your questions from there. Go ahead. Can you ask?
Coach, your guys have gone, I think, 43-10 over the last 4 years, and you're picked 12th first time out. Is that sort of is that a little bit of a wake-up call, or is it sort of like you can use that as motivation?
Well, I think you can use it as motivation, but you know, we knew, obviously being a new member, that and not a lot of people knowing about us and going off of you know, our FCS record, that we were going to probably be picked there. So it's I'm sure we will use it in some ways that, hey, these people are doubting you. Anytime you can play with a chip on your shoulder, it helps you. But it's something that was expected. But you mentioned our record. Our head coach is 51-15 in 5 years. So our expectations are to win, and that's what we expect to do. And no matter if we're making this jump or not, you'll see a team play that way. And I think you'll be surprised by the product that we put on the field.
Coach, you had a lot of success at Charleston Southern. What drew you to depart from there and join Coach Mowgli as his offensive coordinator?
Thank you. Two things. One, really believed in what Coastal Carolina stood for and making this jump to FBS. I think any time you can leave a legacy and be a part of something on the ground floor and growing it, there's something special about that. And then two, what Coach Mowgli stands for. Obviously, the success he's had in the business world, and then with football, the principle. We're the only school in the country. We have no rules in our football program, not one. We have one standard, and it's called BAM. It's on my man's shirt right there on the back of it, and it stands for Be a Man. And what that means is he talks a lot about how a man stands on his own 2 feet, treats others with dignity and respect, takes responsibility for his actions, and lives with the consequences of those actions. And nobody does that. And to have the opportunity to learn under him with this transition and see how he puts together a football program and the vision for it, I want to be a part of that. The man ran a TD Ameritrade for 8 years as CEO, and so nobody's ever done that before in the history of college football. To be able to be a part of that and what he's done and see how he does it, you couldn't pass that up.
Hey, Coach, the commissioner spoke about this morning about 5 years ago the teams that left, and now the conference has changed over these past 5 years. How do you think about the state of the conference for yourself joining into it at this point?
Well, I think it's obviously Coach Carl mentioned earlier, last year was the best year in the history of the conference. And I think we're coming in, obviously, at a great time because it's at an all-time high with the expectations even at an all-time high to hopefully be the top group of 5 program or conference out there. And so we feel like we're going to be a great addition ultimately to this conference, where we feel like we'll be the ones picked number 1 and we'll be the ones talked about in New Year's Eve Bowl. That's the goal and that's the expectation. And we think this conference is positioned with what Carl's mentioned, his vision for it, to be able to reach that. And we feel like we'll be able to do that here eventually. Well, we wouldn't have made the jump if we didn't think so. So it's something that we're looking forward to.
Yeah, every coach always talks about that, you know, just the next game up, focusing on that one. But how excited are you to get to ULM and open up conference play? And then also, Coach Mowgli, I think, gave us some stock tips last year. Do you have any advice on there?
Buy low, sell high. So that's my best ones I've got so far. But, yeah, there will be a great excitement about playing in the Sun Belt, and playing our first game there is at home. So I think that's something our guys will be looking forward to for sure. I think for us, but now that we're playing, you know, FBS UMass is our first game, I think that's obviously something that we got to be focused on, because we've had a lot of success, but we don't know if what we have currently is good enough versus FBS programs, because we've not played one in a long time. And so I think for us, getting to that first game and seeing, do we have the talent, do we have the resiliency to match up with FBS programs that have been playing at FBS for a while? I think that's going to be really our barometer once we get to ULM. And now we'll look forward to that, and it'll be a great night down there in the PD area in the Low Country of South Carolina on the coast. But that's something that we've got to see as a team. We've got to, because you've had so much success, there's this natural thing. It's just going to keep happening. We've been #1 in the country for 10 weeks at FCS, and for us and our program, we got to make sure that we're ready to handle that transition, starting with that UMass, and see where we go from there.
In the back here. Now, I know you say you understand being at the bottom of the preseason poll based on just where the programs come from, but at the same time, would you expect to get maybe more of the benefit of the doubt in a conference that has already had teams have immediate success after the transition or a similar transition?
Well, the conference is so much better now than when those teams made the transition. I mean, I think the money that's been put in, the resources, the visibility of the conference, the bowl tie-ins, there's more and more success that's happening with the conference over the last couple of years than when those teams first got in. So, yeah, you could say, well, hey, Georgia Southern and App, when they did it, they transitioned really well. I expect our transition to go as smooth, but the conference is a lot better now than when they first got in. So I think there's a difference there. And so I think that's probably more of the challenge for us. Anyway, the conference is so much better as a whole that's why we're there. But, we didn't expect – that's what we expected. And, does 12, 11, 10, does it matter where you're at, So it really doesn't. So good question. Anybody else?
One quick follow-up. So would there be no sense in showing your players the history of teams like App State and Georgia Southern that quickly started winning?
Well, they're going to know this here recently. It's not like it happened that much, so they're going to have an idea of what those teams do. And I'm sure we will talk about it and say, hey, this has happened before. But what our coach does a great job of, yes, we want to win and we want to talk about championships, but he's very we really talk about week to week and what we had to do week to week and not looking past or not looking behind. And that's why he's had the success that he's had. So it'll be more focused on that and our team and what we need to do, not what other people have done, not what people in the conference are. Focusing on doing those things that help us be successful. But I'm sure it'll get brought up. Anything you can use for motivation.
Coach, as you mentioned, UMass is when you guys open. Now, your first road game is actually against a team that's also brand new, although entirely sort of returning to FBS with UAB. How much of a test is that going to be to compare yourselves against UAB?
Well, I think it'll be an enormous challenge because the last time they played, I believe, was 2014. So you got no video except for 3-4 years ago. Obviously, different players and different things. So that will be – they do think obviously play a week before us. But I think that's a big challenge because you've got the excitement of being a brand-new team and people, excited about the program being back. And that's something I think for us being down there, I think we're their first home game, if I'm not mistaken. That's a cool part. Hey, there's not many programs that tear down and start back, and that's one of those. So I think that'll be something our kids will look forward to because it's something that doesn't happen a lot. Anybody? Thank y'all very much. We won't finish 12th, I promise.